You'll never find a more wretched show of fun and villainy. We should be cautious.
It's me, Tyler. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron Fun and Villainy. My name is Tyler Buck, sat here with Mike Calhoun, and we are your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity. There's just so much pointing, and it's throwing me off. Calhoun, what are we covering today?
Today, we're doing a lot of fun of things because Avengers is in theaters right now. It's been in theaters, actually, for a while. We can't even get tickets. I tried to get tickets last weekend.
Yeah.
Try to see, and it's sold out until next weekend. Like good seats, you have to sit separately if you go with your friends. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I had to go see Shazam instead.
It's like an old style thing where you walk up and do you have any tickets for Endgame? And they put the thing down and closed.
I forgot that you're very timid at box offices. You can't just approach them.
Other than right here, I'm timid all across the board.
Well, what we'll be doing since Avengers is in theaters we'll be doing a list of top 10 Marvel versus Star Wars character matchups we'd like to see.
Yes, but before we get to the main list, we're going to have some
honorable mentions. I was not prepared, but I wanted to do that very badly.
But you've been waiting to do this since we started the show.
Yes. Those who see the pre-show eventually will know that that was we came up with that on the fly.
All right. So the first honorable mention is Nick Fury versus Mace Windu.
Let me turn to the appropriate page in case we miss anything.
Thank you. I mean, come on. I think all of us would just want to look at the screen and start shouting, "Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!" I don't know how they would film this if this did make it on screen.
I do love this idea of a matchup just because it's the living embodiment of that Spider-Man meme.
Oh, this one? Spider-Man! Yeah, that one. But no, so Nick Fury, he in the original iteration of him, he was a World War II vet, correct?
Yes, so a fierce leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. So both, battle-torn, battle-worn leaders. And
also both most likely would say the words MF about many different things. Thus why you get Samuel L. Jackson playing both.
How cool would it have been for Mace Windu to have one eye, though? But it did end up with one arm.
Oh, that's a good point. Hey, spoiler alert.
One lost an arm, one lost an eye, but one didn't last long falling out of a window.
The next honorable mention would be Hulk versus the Zillo Beast. Be sure to be out of town when this fight goes down. It's the age-old fight between the unstoppable force versus the 5-story tall, impenetrable lizard creature.
I mean, don't Hulk's opponents usually have to be giant monsters of sorts? It's like even when the Avengers movies come around, they have to be like, well, who's Hulk gonna fight? Because he just can kind of beat all of these guys.
And most of the time, it's Hulk versus his friends. Like, especially in the first Avengers, Hulk is about to destroy everybody in the aircraft. And they have to stop him somehow. So yeah, like that. If this were to happen in the real world,
how do you even point him in the right direction?
Right. But if you haven't seen the Zillo Beast, he's in the Clone Wars. It's this giant lizard guy. They basically just put it in there as an homage to King Kong and Godzilla and all that type of stuff. And it was a kind of a silly little episode they had.
An unwelcome homage, if you ask me. But that's okay. I don't run the show.
You don't?
Nope.
Why did I hire you to be on this podcast?
Hey, let's move on to that honorable mention there. What do we got there next?
The next one is Ant-Man versus the living planet Zonama Sakat. While Zonama Sakat is not Uranus, we still think Ant-Man has a fighting chance.
You know, so Zonama Sakat is that living planet from the New Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Also known as the trilogy with the Yuuzhan Vong.
Oh, the Yuuzhan Vong.
Yeah, you ever heard of them?
No. What are they? Are they like really cool?
They're so cool.
Oh, yeah?
I think they're one of the greatest contributions to the EU.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. That's
all
his
right.
thoughts. And then the last honorable mention we have here is the Punisher versus Django. Django Fett versus the Punisher. I mean, this is just a cool fight to see, honestly. Like it would be gritty and dangerous.
It would be gritty. You'd see a lot of gritty reboot fan films of this on YouTube, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Frank Castle versus Django Fett, two killers for hire that need to chill out.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Maybe Frank will settle down, have one kid, and an entire clone army made off of him, too.
And then
he could be a simple man trying to make his way on Earth.
And, maybe the trials of becoming a single father will soften him up a bit, and he'll get beheaded as well.
Oh, that's the only... What a nice way to go out. Like, honestly.
It's the only way.
All right. Would you like to announce number 10 for us, Mike Calhoun?
Sure. Number 10 is Black Panther versus Kylo Ren. Or as I like to call it, Black Panther versus Black Pants only.
Is that the sign he has outside of his quarters?
No, that's not what they have. That's what we're promoting it as, us at the wrestling ring.
Oh, yeah?
I actually run the promotion over at the Gold's Club. See, people confuse us with Gold's Gym, but we've been around longer. But it's Gold's Club, and yeah, we've got our own ring.
How do you balance doing that and also creating the Clone Wars?
Oh, man. It's, I turned back time with one of those magic devices.
If I could turn back time.
Cher has one as well. That's why she looks immortal.
But Kylo Ren, we saw him take on armored people in The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And, from the looks of him and how angrily he can fight people, I think he could take the fight to Black Panther. And especially because Black Panther, doesn't really have force powers, whereas Kylo Ren does. Kylo Ren could stop the Black Panther. But who knows how strong that armor that Black Panther is? If it
Vibranium is pretty strong.
So that's the actual age-old question: could vibranium stop a lightsaber?
People have asked that question, along with Captain America's shield. Can it stop a lightsaber?
I wonder if we're going to get a Captain America's shield. But let's move on to number 9.
Number 9 is Star-Lord versus Han Solo.
I don't even think this one would come to blows. It would most likely just be snarky remark against snarky remark.
Like, this is just like two guys getting mad at each other at the bar. They wouldn't even meet up in combat because it's just like, why? They're actually arguing over like a deal. Like they just can't negotiate. That's really the conflict between these guys.
Or it would even be like, at a high school when the main jock there, the quarterback, has been ruling over the school for the past 3 years, and then senior year, one new cool guy comes and is going to challenge him to be the top cool guy at the school.
Stranger Things-esque.
Yes.
With what were those two character names? Goodness, I can't
Also,
remember.
we're not a Stranger Things podcast.
We are not. No, we're not supposed to know those characters.
But no, both of these characters are gun slingers.
You think they would maybe bond over like, hey, I like that gun you got there. I like my gun too, but I like yours a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to do a Star-Lord from the comics. I'm not going to try and do Chris Pratt because Chris Pratt is like Chris Pratt.
Oh, that you said you weren't going to try, and you did a little bit, and you nailed it.
Let's move on.
Okay, 2.
Black Widow versus Boba Fett.
The Battle of Tool Belts. Both have various tricks. One's got a flaming jetpack, and the other one has flaming red hair. But, of course, we know that Black Widow would destroy Boba Fett pretty quickly.
Well, you don't think so? That he would have a chance with all of his gadgets and gadgets. He's pretty. I mean, all she is just a super assassin from Earth.
Right. Well, is Black Widow blind? Because that might actually make it easier for her to beat him.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just accept that and move on to the next one. Who do we got here?
Thanos versus Abeloth as number 7.
Nice.
Thanos once fell in love with death itself.
You don't say.
Yeah. So would Abeloth make him swoon over her hideous ways?
Isn't she considered death
She's
itself?
She's basically death, let's be honest.
That's interesting. So I think Abeloth would really probably, I mean, especially since Death in the Marvel Universe is a lady, and Abeloth is supposed to be this beautiful creature, but this embodiment of death. They're kind of the same thing, aren't they?
Right. But for people that might not know, Abeloth came from the EU as well. She was known as the Mother, and she was touted as being a living force volcano. So she's super powerful. But in our little book here, how powerful is Thanos, especially with the Infinity Gauntlet?
Oh, Thanos once gained the Infinity Gauntlet, an item of enormous power. Its 6 Infinity Gems gave control over time, space, reality, and the souls of others. Unlimited strength and psychic powers. So a little strong.
Just a little strong.
Just a little bit.
And this book has power rankings basically
does.
itself. It has 6 different
little categories that are a little unscientific, but they do give him an energy projection of 6 and a strength of 7. I think 7's the highest. But his speed is 3, so he's a real slow guy.
Abeloth was able to space travel, I believe, so she might be a
fast.
little quicker. But how smart is Thanos? Do they give him there?
They give him a 6 on intelligence. Oh, it's pretty high.
Pretty smart. Abeloth doesn't really have much brains going for her. She mainly screeches.
I was going to say she's kind of just a mist that covers you in darkness.
Yes, exactly. What about the next one?
We've got Thor versus Mother Talzin.
Thor already faced a woman with weird spiny headwear, so didn't we already see this fight maybe?
And she kind of, her powers were kind of like greenish hue too. Yep. Oh man, now I just want to see Mother Talzin played by Cate Blanchett. Ooh. That's great casting.
That is pretty good. But no, Thor, see, he has all these almost magical powers in and of itself. And of course, Mother Talzin she's a witch. She's just a witch. So what about, you were saying energy projection is one of the ones that they have. How much projection can he energize?
He has 6 energy projection and a 7 in strength. He is a strong man. He's not a man. He's a god.
What do you think Talzin's energy projection would be?
Hers has got to be like a 5, but it was pretty tough for her to like conjure up some of those things, but she was pretty talented.
Yeah, but she's also kind of like Abeloth in the sense that she's like this ghostly,
You're right.
I feel like
kind of ethereal, hard to hit.
Yeah, and also kind of trickster in ways.
True. And Thor's not very smart.
No, what's his
intelligence is a 2.
Oh, wow.
So I think he could probably be outsmarted. But he might have assistance from Thor Girl.
Thor Girl.
Thor Girl, who is kind of like if I had superpowers and they named a female counterpart Mike Girl.
Right. Right. Or our last one, we had Thanos Girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
let's move on to the next matchup.
Yes, Captain America versus Luke Skywalker. We're halfway through.
Captain Marvel, though.
Oh, wow.
We will be getting to Captain America.
Captain Marvel, thank you, versus Luke Skywalker. This is number 5. 2 blondes who love piloting and got lied to by their masters. So
they're basically the same person, huh?
Right. Captain Marvel is pretty strong. If you see her in the movie, she is super strong. Her energy projection has to be pretty high.
Energy projection a 5, but speed of 7. Impressive. Also, this is not very accurate.
As we know, George Lucas has said that Luke Skywalker is the strongest Force user of all time, basically. And
la-di-da.
Yeah. So I believe he could hold his own, especially as time went on and he got better with his Force abilities.
I think so, surely. I mean, we've already seen some cool stuff come from Luke. Besides, how does Captain Marvel even know he's fighting the real one?
Yeah, exactly. All right, the next one, number 4. Spider-Man versus General Grievous.
You were saying to me off microphone, you know what? This works because General Grievous just looks like a Spider-Man villain.
Already. I mean, he would probably be another one of just Peter Parker's teachers, like his history teacher or something.
Right. Or a robotics teacher, for goodness sakes. And he could be
his shop teacher.
Yeah, he's shop class in high school or something like that.
Awful table saw accident turns Mr. Jenkins into General Grievous.
He's a quadriplegic, and he gets his robot arms that he's been working on to work for him, and he's kind of like a Doc Ock, except he's aggrieved, and he's like, maybe he was the shop teacher. Maybe he is a war vet. So he's General Grievous, and he's been aggrieved by the school district or something, and he comes back to terrorize. This writes itself.
Yeah, but I almost see him still trying to do his day job as a teacher. As a teacher without people noticing.
Yes.
You know,
He wears a long trench coat.
this F will make a fine addition to my collection.
Oh, he collects failures.
Yes.
That seems like something General Grievous, the shop class teacher, would do.
But no, this fight would actually be really cool. We know General Grievous kind of has that spider mode he goes into.
Spider mode. Enter spider mode.
But no, we have Spider-Man going all over the place. General Grievous chasing him down, maybe trying to box him in with webs. You know what I mean? And then he can bust out with lightsabers. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of good visuals that could come from this type of fight. And
all of these have the great potential for animated little shorts on YouTube that someone might make. Mm-hmm. Someone in high school might get bored and do it.
But great potential has great, responsibility. There we go.
Oh, yes. Barely got through that one unscathed.
Yes,
You
but-
really ruined it at the end.
Thanks, man. Spider-Man is, if I were to choose like superpowers for, this hero, I could have his superpowers. It would be Spider-Man's superpowers. And I'm talking,
Really?
I'm
You would
talking
take
the
all the
one,
superpowers?
the ones from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because he could actually produce the webs.
Oh, yeah.
But no, just like super strong, super fast. He can sense when danger is around. He can walk on walls. He can swing, and like that's so cool.
Just having the super senses and the spider sense alone is like, well, now you're basically you're like the best ninja ever.
And then I can finally take these off, these glasses.
Oh, yeah, you'd be like, huh. Can you see what our next matchup is?
Oh, now I can. It's Captain America, finally, versus Yoda. Some would say the two best leaders of their respected universes. One looks his age and the other one doesn't. One's a wrinkly century-old frog and the other one is Master Yoda.
You couldn't put it much better than that. I wouldn't say. I said I wouldn't want to carry this war-torn great warrior on my back through a swamp.
Imagine. Was his name Chris Pine?
No, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans on the back of
they say
some young student.
This book claims that he only weighs 220 pounds, but he's like filled with like muscle tissue.
Yeah.
Like
220 pounds.
Like Thanos punched him in the face in the movie, and he kind of stood there. I feel like if Thanos punched something that only weighed 220 pounds, it would go through the ground.
You're saying he should be like have antimatter. He's that strong and unmovable.
No, not necessarily. I just know that
but 220
if
pounds
you're a super soldier and you like grew like vertically, like your bones got bigger too, bro. Like, I don't know. I imagined him a little bit heavier than 220.
What's his stats on this?
Oh, here we go. So he's got an energy projection of 1. He's not going to be projecting much.
He only
like
projects
Yoda.
Shields.
His fighting skill is a 6. He's got a durability of 3. I don't know what that means. Not very smart, Captain America. A 3 for intelligence, but he's got to be pretty smart if he's, directing people on the battlefield like Yoda was.
Right. And that's the thing.
Around the survivors, perimeter create. That sounds like something Captain America would do when he's really old.
But more straightforward without backward speak.
You're right. He wouldn't be wasting time.
Create
like
a
that.
perimeter around the survivors. But no, this would be a very tactical battle, and I just liked the idea of seeing Captain America battle this little green lightsaber wielding man. And then isn't his shield also vibranium?
Vibranium, yep.
So we would see if that holds true. I think it would be a similar thing where the lightsaber would bounce off, but if he were to hold said lightsaber against vibranium, it might start melting through.
Yeah, it's very true.
I would love to see Yoda dodging the shield, much like he dodged those big spinning things from the Senate, and him to throw it and Yoda to get on it and ride it at one point.
He would, because I mean he's already bouncing around off the walls, and that's how he bounces his shield around. So he just like jump on and surf on it. Woohoo! That's not what he would do. He might do that. What's our next matchup?
Number 2 is Doctor Strange versus the Emperor. Disney owns both of these universes, so this fight might be like a scene out of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. A lot of wizarding ways happening back and forth between these two.
I have written down that one's got the eye of Agamotto, while the other one's got an eye for hot young apprentices.
So which one helped more in this fight? You be the judge of that.
I mean, just they both got capes. They got that going for them. Yeah. One is more actually one of them is more just like a bag wrapped around him, a black bag. It seems like just nothing wants to touch him, even the air. So he has to like
cover every inch of his body.
Doctor Strange is more vain. He's just like he's got his like clean shaved, or not clean shaved, but he's got his well sculpted beard, and he's got his silver lining on his hair there.
The thing about the Emperor though is he always thinks like 8 steps ahead. So even though Doctor Strange can like bend space and time sometimes, I think
he's
the
not
Emperor,
a master plan kind of guy.
The Emperor, he might be, but the Emperor is a super master plan type of guy. His if he was in this book, his brain power would be a 7.
His intelligence. I like you saying brain power though.
Oh, intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Doctor Strange's intelligence is only a 4 on
and
this
he's
power
a doctor,
rank. And he's a surgeon.
Oh,
Surgeons are a
man.
little bit different than doctors. Well, I'm just saying.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Surgeons are like craftsmen.
And his energy projection is only a 6, huh?
Yeah, that is an interesting thing, considering that's all he does is be a magician.
And remember that the Emperor, his force lightning is so strong, he can reduce people to dust.
Dust. He can reduce people to dust. You ever seen that old Emperor just reducing people to dust? He might do that to old Doctor Strange here, and I don't want that to happen.
I was going to say...
More from the local county individuals, the local populace in the Tri-County area.
Back to you guys in the studio. No, I was going to say either dust or... I don't know.
What are you getting at? Are you getting that it would be an easy job for the Emperor to take out?
No, it's just that if he's a dumb surgeon, as you put it, and he doesn't think far enough in advance that if the Emperor got him in that electrical grasp, he might be able to win this fight.
Look, Doctor, they're both strange. Let's move on.
Turn them to dust, he said. Man,
is this our last one? Oh shoot! We zipped right through these. I gotta get to our last one.
Of course,
here.
We're like Quicksilver over here.
Oh, he's not on the list.
We know some Star Wars stuff, but number 1 is Iron Man versus Darth Vader.
Iron Man and Darth Vader.
Yes, that's what I said. More machine than man applies to both of these fighters, but let's hope Stark doesn't choke on his aspirations.
I feel like Tony Stark might start to feel like a tuna in a can, or a sardine rather.
Yeah.
Because I think Darth Vader is just going to start crushing that armor.
Tuna also comes in cans.
I know, but it's not as whole, so it's like the metaphor doesn't work as well.
And sardines are apparently packed in.
Yeah, but they're also dead, so the metaphor doesn't carry very much weight.
He might feel like a dead fish in a tin can.
He'll be dead soon once Darth Vader gets a hold of that armor and just...
Do you want to read off his stats?
Yeah.
Because he looks pretty powerful from what I can see over here.
He's a strong man. Let's see here. We got energy projection, a 6. Strength, a 6. Durability, a 6. His fighting skill is only a 3. Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of fighting. In fact, I think that was less. But anyway, his intelligence, another 6. And on top of that, a speed of 5. All of these completely arbitrary, but, impressive.
See,
Sure.
Vader
Is a slow man. His speed is probably a 1.
Right, but what might be cool is Vader getting into his TIE fighter and taking on Iron Man in an air battle during one of the standoffs.
I mean, yeah, they are. Well, yeah, taking off into the air kind of seems inevitable, or maybe it's just starting there.
Yeah.
And then, here's what I have written about the matchup. One became the Secretary of Defense and an Avenger of Earth. The other was more of a secretary for a pruny warlock, and he didn't avenge anything, but he did take revenge. At times.
Several times. You could say Vader revenged many things.
On a few occasions.
If Vader headed the team of all these Star Wars characters, they'd be called the Revengers.
I have a feeling that the Revengers exist somewhere in Marvel comic books. It's got to.
If it's not Disney, I know you're listening. Revengers versus Evengers.
Hashtag Disney shills.
Hashtag Disney shills. But yeah, so any of these fights would make a great on-screen, battle. But I think Iron Man is the staple of the Disney, the MCU that we're seeing right now, and Darth Vader, of course, is the staple of Star Wars. Anakin is kind of been the main character, and I honestly think the fight between the two would be incredible. A lot of force battle coming from Darth Vader, and then Iron Man. It'd be interesting to hear his snarky remarks talking about all of his lost limbs and all that type of stuff.
I would be interested in like, this is such a drawing in your art book in 5th grade kind of stuff. But I mean, just the logistics, like, do they know each other? It would be funny to discover. Right. Like, they're aware of each other, and yeah, that would be funny for Tony Stark to start making fun of Anakin, because we do it every day.
There's several things that he can make fun of.
Plenty of material.
All right, so the question goes out to everybody out there. What matchup from Marvel would you like to see most? Did we not list it? Did we list it? Let us know in the comments, or reach out to us on any of our social media.
They're probably in this book.
Maybe. And then if you are in the Ohio area, we are going to be at the Barley House in Akron on May the 4th doing some Star Wars trivia.
Winning some Star Wars trivia,
exactly.
He meant to say.
Brought to you by the Fun and Games show and sponsored by Fatheads, that event will be. So come down and see if you can take us on, and we might turn you into dust. Thanks, guys.
We're doomed.